Hey, Major Moxie here. It's still winter. We haven't seen much snow until this week. I'm going to try out the snowbird lifestyle. I'm going to go from northern Nevada down to southern Nevada, right on the California border near Death Valley. Get some of that nice warm temps. I need a swimsuit and look out some mines, check out some hot springs, and enjoy not being in the blizzard that is hitting the Sierras right now. I think they're supposed to be getting 12 feet. That is crazy. We have barely seen any snow this winter, but 12 feet of Sierra snow, I'm willing to drive 6 hours to go to some warmer weather. Come on, let's go. Exchanging evergreens for palm trees. You know you're in an oasis when you see all those little date trees behind you.
Found some water.
Just last week, there was a huge rainstorm that just came through Tecopa. They do not get more than 5 inches of rain for their year. So seeing the standing water, luckily there wasn't too much flash flooding and road damage. The skies are so blue. I've been hanging out in gray skies without snow. This winter's been weird. This lack of sunlight, it affects my mood. I'm glad I get so much sun in the next few weeks in some warm weather. It's definitely needed. This is my 3rd year coming to Delight Hot Springs right before spring. And there are so many trails to hike. You can go right out the back of the property and hit the Furnace Creek Road. And from there, just go walk and explore. It's gorgeous out here.
Benchmark. I always like finding benchmarks in the middle of nowhere.
Got some piping going into some makeshift, could be a hot springs, could be a mining, leaching, cleaning area. Either toxic or old enjoyable.
I don't know if that's old remnants of hot springs or not.
Doesn't matter where I go, where I'm hiking, I'm always finding garbage, trash, the dump of an old town. I cannot help myself. The more you explore, the more you find. I just seem to find a lot of historical trash. Usually when you find old trash, you think, damn, that's from history. Now I'm finding things that are vintage and historical from my childhood. That just shows how old and historical. I'm an artifact. Looks like we have some late 60s, early 70s soda bottles, bleach. Just a few glass bits here. Not too much. Must have been just one home. Oh, the little lake.
If you want to call that a lake.
It gets so slippery out here when it is wet. It is just a few centimeters of sand that gets blown in on top of clay. And as soon as it gets moist, it just holds that water, keeps it tight. It's funny how different soils will protect themselves. Like out in the desert, they know exactly how to hold their water and save it for later instead of it leaching in and back into the ground so quickly.
Ah, that's slippery.
Never thought some sand in a mud puddle could be so beautiful. But it is. The video just can't do it justice. I just want to bathe in this mud. If I knew it wouldn't dry me out and it would make a mess everywhere, I would just make a mud monster out of myself. It's crazy when you leave, go on vacation, how much extra things you would be doing that you wouldn't do it normally. It's early in the morning. I wouldn't be walking some mud ponds, some mud hills, looking at this beautiful scenery in the desert. I'd be sitting at home with a cup of coffee, probably checking out some YouTube videos. Dirk would be headed off to work, putting in his 24-hour day job. Not that much, almost. I barely see him in 25 years. He's ready for retirement, but I don't think we know how to have a regular life together. It's either working all the time or going on road trips and adventures and touring around. We're going to have a vacation after this vacation just to rest up. We need to learn how to just relax when we go somewhere. This trip is meant to teach us how to just chill. So far, we're not doing so well. We're hiking and doing some more hiking. And so far, we've already had a few date shakes from the China Date Ranch. I wouldn't be eating date shakes like that at home, but I hope we're burning off some of these calories with all the hiking that our feet are not enjoying, but our eyes are. Just found myself a Thelma and Louise road. Oh, and this is all the trash from the remnants of an old mining camp, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on Tecopa. I'm just here touring around. I've got so many days and so much to see. That's one big wash. And later this week, I'm going to be hunting for some rocks down at the end of it. And I'm going to visit the top of it and visit an abandoned mine in a toxic wash area. That'll be later. Part 1, Part 2, maybe even a Part 4. Oh, it's always so windy at these peaks. Sorry for that wind noise. What a busy morning. Hunting for rocks, checking out some cactus. Next, I'm going to go hit the Tecopa mud ponds, make some breakfast, and Dirk and I just might go get ourselves our 4th date shake at the China Ranch. Till next video, thanks. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm at the Speary Wash. I'm going to go rock hunting. I'm right near the Dumont Dunes, 25 miles away from Tecopa. Just yesterday, I was up at the Thelma and Louise Road, checking out the overlook at the beginning of this wash, right next to the Western Talk Road. After hunting the wash for some rocks, we are definitely going to make it back to China Date Ranch and grab another date shake and make it up to the reservoir. There's so much hiking to do down at the China Date Ranch. It takes a few days, maybe a few years of visits. Come on, let's go. This wash is OHV only, and it takes you all the way back up to China Date Ranch, and it'll take you over to the abandoned mines off the Western Talc Mine Road. That's on Part 3, maybe Part 4 video. You have the Dumont Dunes campsite and helipad. We're like an hour away from Death Valley. and just sheer 45-minute drive back around to the China Date Ranch with those delicious shakes. I'm not sure what kind of rocks I'm going to find in this wash. Not sure what I should be looking for, but I did pass an area with the famous Tecopa opals. They're not worth anything, but they're fun to hunt.
Made it to the wash. Gonna do some rock hounding.
Oh, and there's the infamous Amargosa River. It pops up here and there. It's pretty shallow through the Dumont Dunes and the Sperry Wash. I actually saw part of it while I was at the China Date Ranch, hiking those trails. There's so much beautiful hiking and exploring and adventures to be found in the Inyo County. Unfortunately, living 7 hours away, I only got to visit once in a while. Staying here for over a week to visit and to tour around and explore as much as I can. This few weeks, it's going to be lots of hiking. My feet are already feeling it. Just last week, with the rainfall that flooded Southern California, this wash is still moist. I could definitely say there's no spectacular rocks to be found here, but it's just for fun. The hobby's not about all your finds. It's about the views you have while looking for rocks. But it is about finding cool rocks also. The road going out the wash is washed out. They're actually going to have to cross the river and make their own trail.
I found signal on the top of the hill.
The one definite hardship of being in this area in Tecopa and Deathvalley, no cell service. It is hard to find some. I found some up by the Tecopa mines down that road for a few blimps, and now I just found it on top of this hill. Delight's Hot Springs has a hotspot to use your own Wi-Fi data, but no internet. If you want to get away and never answer anyone's phone calls or emails, come down here. Say you're on vacation. I don't have a signal.
It's all wet.
But if you're in danger and you need to call 911 or actually get in contact with people, you might want to carry yourself a satellite phone just in case you're going out those back roads. Keep yourself safe. The Amargosa River might be tiny, but it's might. This definitely supports so much life out here in the desert. It is beautiful to see it this far. And there's still little fish in the mud puddles. I hope they make it down to the river or somewhere where they can finish living. I think they just might end up being dinner for some birds out here. Circle of life. I just saw some quail Not like my Nevada quail. These were bigger and more beautiful. I think these are California quail. They must love those dates. I cannot keep Dirk away from these date shakes also. I don't know, is this our third trip for shakes? Many trails, and we're gonna hunt some rocks. I think there's some selenite in the washes and a reservoir at the top of a hike. Beautiful specimen of a petrified agatized wood. It doesn't look the way you think it looks. It is so colorful and beautiful. Before this trip, Dirk made my grandma's date cookies for me. Every year we have them. This year I didn't have them for Christmas. I had them for this trip just to eat the date cookies of my grandma at the China Date Ranch orchard. With date shakes in hand and streams to walk by and palm trees to walk under, you forget how deadly and dangerous this desert can be. Stay hydrated, keep your blood sugars up, get that shake before you go on that hike, and carry yourself some H2O. Usually I carry an umbrella, but it has been chilly. It's just the beginning of March, and the weather goes from being just slightly warm enough to wear a sweatshirt, but the sun is hot, but the wind's been really cold. I actually think I'm getting a little sunburn on my shoulders. I just saw someone scurrying through the bushes, and they have a tent down by the creek. They must just be hanging out. This might be a great place to be unhoused, hide out, camp a little bit. I'm not sure what the regulations are at the China Date Ranch, but what a beautiful campsite. Finding lots of selenite crystals down this wash. Oh, the birds are flying. Big old helicopter just freaked all those birds off their stoop. I love walking through this orchard. These trees are so old. I'm just as old as these trees. And I found the ranch. I'm not sure if I should be back here. I'm just strolling, heading up to the reservoir. Looks like there was a fire. Only thing that survived are these weird little melons. I'm not sure what these are. If you know, leave a comment below. Weird little melons. What are they? No sweet flesh to eat. Just lots of seeds. Still not sure what it is. Storing and saving whatever water you have when you have a ranch is important, and definitely when you're out in the desert. They've built this sweet reservoir at the top of this little spring, just so it can take care of all those little date trees down below. In any healthy pond, you have to have some fish in it to maintain balance between all the insects in the neighborhood that want to hang out and breed in the water. I wonder what kind of fish these are. Anyone know? I don't think they look like any pupfish I know. And here we are again. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. I appreciate you if you clicked off sooner or just fast forward to this part. Thank you, and thank you for subscribing. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm hanging out in an abandoned mine. Honestly, I don't know if it's an abandoned mine, but I definitely found a lot of holes to climb into while I'm still hanging out here at Delight Hot Springs in Tecopa. A lot of time on my hands and a lot of hiking to do.
Good morning, sunshine. Hey Dirk, do you know anything about this mine?
That's the Anaconda mine.
I don't think you said that right.
Anaconda?
Dirk knows I'm always pronouncing stuff incorrect. I actually not sure where we're at. There's so many mines out here near the old town of Tecopa where they used to mine, and the old Tecopa mine is just right across the road from us. But I do think he's correct. This might be the Anaconda mine. Growing a little stir crazy being up at home in northern Nevada. It's been so cold, snow on the ground. Had to come down south where it's warmer so I can explore. There's so many dangers here, filled in mines, nails everywhere, maybe some not snakes now. It's still a little cold out. I don't think there's any bears, even though I was joking with Dirk about having some date palm tree bears coming around and eating us because we're eating too many date shakes. It's crazy the scarcity of wood in some areas. They almost could pay just as much for gold per weight as they would timbers for these mines. They used every bit of wood a few times over. Water out here in Tecopa is hard to come by, so you want to make sure you capture it and store any bit that you can. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm hanging out in an abandoned mine. I'm just outside Tecopa, and it's cold today. Well, we're going to go explore this abandoned mine and look for some rocks. Rock hunting and abandoned mines. Come on, let's go. There are so many of these barrel lids out here. They had a screw top. It must have been easier to cut it off and pour it out. I don't think whatever they were pouring out was probably very good for the environment. I have a feeling this is the top to the water container I was standing in earlier. here. I'm in a cave right outside of Tecopa, right near the Tecopa mines. This is exciting. Come on, let's go.
Little wasp mud huts.
I wouldn't call this a cave, more like just a man-made dugout. Sorry to fool you. They might have been mining some copper somewhere near here. We got some beautiful turquoise rocks, old shoes. I definitely know right down the road there's an active talc mine right now. There's so many adventure videos and mines being explored in this area. But how many videos have a shitter in them? And multiple shitters.
Got the shitter.
And the person looking at them so excited over the shitter. It's my perspective of my hikes. Just slightly different than everyone else's videos. Hope you're enjoying so far.
Stuck on the tree.
Oh, definitely an active in-use restroom out here in a little campsite. Ew.
I think I need to use that right now. Found a little campsite. There's the mine up there. Found a little grave.
F rank has a great last resting spot under this huge tree.
That is big. We have bricks and we have slag.
That's one healthy Joshua tree.
Huge cactus. Look at those.
California red barrel cactus. You got some teddy bear cholo cactuses. Oh, I better be careful where I walk. These holes don't lead to anything. Stay out, stay alive. Wear protective helmets. Don't be a dumbass and go into mines. Or if you do, just make sure the other person stays outside so they can go call for help. That's my motto. I just don't go in too deep. Don't get into too much danger.
Just found this abandoned mine. I'm not sure if it's abandoned, but we left our flashlights in the RV, of course. Old Spice bottle, perf cologne. There's a car in there.
Somehow I always do it. I found the old town of Tecopa's dump site right down the wash from all the abandoned mines also. I hope it isn't too contaminated down here. I'm going to mess around just a little bit though. Oh, these old cars are amazing. The snowbirding in Tecopa series is becoming longer than I expected. It's going to be a 5-part series made into a full-length movie. That'll be coming up shortly. Can't wait to see that. Some more of those weird desert gourds. Those things grow everywhere, even amongst the trash.
This is the original town of Tecopa that we were digging in all that trash. This is where they poisoned the ground. I guess we shouldn't be hanging out in there. But stay out for your own safety. Mine's, I need to call for a tour. But I don't have cell phone service. I do down the hill a little bit. Maybe next time when I'm in Tecopa.
I just got this flyer for the Tecopa mines while I was at the visitor center and museum in Shoshone.
A lot of tobacco cans.
Lucky China Ranch was right down the road from the Tecopa mines, so we can get another shake. Another benchmark. Out at China Date Ranch area, out by the Slot Canyons again. Can't finish up our hike out here. Dirk definitely wants to work on his 5th date shake. And I want to check out where the Speary Wash ends up. The canyon walls are too steep, and those bushes have so many stickers on them and thorns. This is the creek that's fed by the spring at the top of the China Date Ranch at the reservoir. Oh, my feet are so red. They feel so good in this cold water. Can't get back to the hot springs fast enough and soak and enjoy the rest of my week out here in Tecopa. It has been beautiful. So many visitors. And this place is just becoming that much more popular. How can you resist? It's a paradise out here.
No one here but us.
These magic mud hot springs are so popular. You come here, there's tons of people, and then sometimes you come and you have it all alone to yourselves. Not for long. Someone's going to show up and join us pretty soon. One of the other popular spots to check out while in Tecopa is the swimming pool at Delights. If you're not at the brewery down the street and you're not at the mud ponds, most everyone I think is here at the swimming pool. This place gets so busy and packed. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm in Death Valley. Well, almost in Death Valley. I'm leaving Tecopa, gonna make my way to Death Valley. First, we're gonna stop at Shoshone and check out the pupfish and some locals. On the way, got the Charlie Brown Road with the obsidian.
St. Babylon. She's got a big
Major
YouTube channel.
Moxie Babylon.
I told you about her. I said, yeah, hey, there's this roller derby lady from Reno.
You're that roller derby woman?
And a German Shepherd.
Yeah, his dog
Yeah, his
yanks him all
dogs
over the
and-
place. Yeah, he's a bearcat, that dog. Nice dog.
Ah, George, we just met him outside Shoshone's museum. Went in there to talk about Tecopa opals and get a flyer from the one-legged miner's mine. And I met George and his buddy and his dog out here. He watches the channel. Thanks, George, for watching. I appreciate you. And this pup footage, that's for you. George and Shoshone, these pupfish are for you. The pupfish are so territorial. Luckily, there's lots of ponds out here that have been fed and created from springs. And if you go into the gift shop in the town, you can grab yourself a hat with a pupfish on it. What a beautiful oasis is out here. Having water in the desert is just an awesome commodity. I'm heading out to Death Valley, and I heard there's actually some water in the Badwater Basin. Lake Manly, it's full. It's actually a lake. Can't battle boat on it right now, but you were boating on it just a week or two ago. Come on. This should be exciting. Water in Death Valley. I was tempted to load up the kayak or the paddleboard. I'm glad I didn't, because they just banned any form of flotation on the lake. I guess they had some high winds and it caused the lake to spread out and it lost some of its depth. So for everyone's safety, no more boating. There's so many sights to see, so many trails, so many roads. This is the first time I've been to the Borax Mule Train wagon. Quick stop off here, and then go hit some trails. We're going to try to camp out on the slabs tonight. Oh, those wagons are huge. I feel so sorry for those mules. At least there was 20 of them. I bet they needed about 40 though. Poor mules. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm in Death Valley. It is beautiful today. I'm in Badwater Basin. It is full of water and I am all wet. Right across from the most expensive, beautiful lodging here in Death Valley, there's this garden, and I bet you anything, they do weddings out here. probably some wine tastings. Right now, all the bike clubs, they're meeting up here and grabbing their water and their snacks. It is beautiful in here. I love all the old Spanish adobe architecture. It is gorgeous. It reminds me of Southern California. What an honor it was to meet a subscriber and someone who enjoys my videos while I'm out here on an adventure, and hearing stories of him actually meeting my father-in-law at a hot springs. Thanks again. I appreciate all of you and all my new subscribers. On the way into Death Valley today, they were still clearing the roads of the mudslides. The muds made it down through this property. You could see some of it in the parking lot. Before I checked out of the RV in Tecopa at Delight's Hot Springs, I definitely used their stove and my own water to boil myself some pasta. Thank goodness, because today's dinner is on the fly and I'm starving after all the hiking we're doing. The plan was to camp on the slabs right outside of Death Valley for free tonight, but the rainstorm's blowing in and I just realized I forgot the tent stakes. So we're gonna luckily go find some lodging, hopefully in Beatty, but right now we're gonna eat dinner and watch the sunset. And look at me, I still have some date cookies left. What a great trip. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm right outside of Death Valley, found some little ghost ruins of a mine. I'm gonna check this out. It is cold today.
If you're new to my channel, I'm Major Moxie. I do just different stuff. So if you want to keep coming back for weird but a good time, hit that subscribe button. I would love it. I appreciate you and thank you.
Yesterday's plan to camp on the slabs right outside of Death Valley, well, that changed when the rainstorm blew in and I realized I forgot my tent stakes. So we drove down to Beatty and luckily they had a room at the inn. Headed south for some warmer weather, and this weather has definitely caught up to us with a cold storm. It has found us. It is not summer yet. Spring's almost around the corner and I can't wait. Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm right outside of Death Valley, found some little ghost ruins of a mine. I'm gonna check this out. It is cold today. Oh, yesterday I was hot and being sunburnt. Today I'm cold. This is... It is a brisk morning. At least the sun is out. I can't believe how cold it is today, Dirk.
Yeah, it's really cold and a lot of wind. The wind just keeps getting colder and colder, it seems. And we're down further south, but that doesn't make any difference. It's still cold.
I thought it was a ghost, just some creepy dude.
Crazy how many windows there are in this building. That is amazing, because normally there's what, how many windows?
Yeah, usually you're lucky if you find maybe 2 windows, front and one maybe on the side, but this building has windows all the way around it.
Why don't they have more windows in buildings, Dirk?
Glass was expensive and then it would be break and it was hard to come by.
Looks like a one-bedroom fixer-upper to me.
It's hard to envision these ghost towns lively with jobs. There's nothing out here but desert. Now the lively jobs are the dispensaries and the grow houses. You drive the highways, there's nothing out here, but all of a sudden a dispensary. It's the stamp mill of 2024. You have Dry Lake, you got Death Valley, you have Durkee, and a dilapidated mill stamp. What a beautiful day. This is definitely more like it. Little tiny shack with no windows, just a door and a stove to keep 'em warm. The desert definitely is an environment that helps these ruins last as long as they can. Anywhere else it'd probably be washed away, molded, flooded. Here they're preserved. Look at that wood. It looks almost brand new.
Hey, Major Moxie here. I'm hanging out right outside Death Valley. It's some old mine ruins. It is windy. It is cold today. The last few days have been so hot and sunny, minus some rainstorms. Today I'm freezing.
Actually, it's not a mine. It's an old stamp mill that serviced 3 mines nearby. And then after that ceased to exist, it started working on smelting ore for a short period while the railroad was running out here. I've seen some old historical photos of this old stamp mill, and it was covered in all this corrugated aluminum. I'm sure it's definitely been reused and recycled. There's only a few panels left, and I don't see them out here in the desert. It is so windy out here. It doesn't matter I have a special mic with a sock on it. This wind noise is hideous. But anyway, crazy to think that this old ruins had way more activity since Scotty's Castle's Junction Road has been closed from the floods and the fire. I don't think this area has seen too much traffic. Supposedly the road's supposed to be open by the end of June 2025. Hopefully we could be able to check out the castle that they've been rebuilding and refurbishing back to its original state. I've never been to Scotty's Castle in Death Valley, and as for today, this is as close as I'm gonna get. Let me just pretend this was someone's castle. It definitely helps being tiny and limber. I can squeeze myself into some of the most dangerous, tight corners. And then I can go kick it in some of that toxic dirt from the washout plant. Like I mentioned earlier, this was originally just a stamp mill, crushing all that ore for the local mines nearby. And then when it switched over to a ore processing, they were smelting stuff and melting things. Not quite sure. Three of these vats all running into one catch-all. I'm sure it's not toxic. Probably perfectly healthy to be playing around here. In the smelting process, they need all the extra metal they can get to bond to the precious metals that they're trying to collect. Look at all these rotting, rusting screws and bolts down here. There's a little slag left over. I think they might have been processing iron ore. Hey Dirk, do you know anything about Bonnie Claire? I have no idea what's going on out here. I see a dry lake bed over there. What is this about?
Yeah, over across the playa there's supposed to be a racetrack of rocks, kind of similar to the one that's in Death Valley, but a lot easier to get to. Well, next time when we're to Bonnie Claire, we'll have to go take a look at it.
I can't believe how cold it is today, Dirk.
Yeah, it's really cold and a lot of wind. The wind just keeps getting colder and colder, it seems. And we're down further south, but that doesn't make any difference. It's still cold.
Right on the other side of the road, there's grave sites. There's a house with quotes in it. We're not going to make it there today. That might have to be another video for another excursion next time we're out here. Maybe when the junction to Scotty's Castle opens. How lucky are we that we live in the barren desert of Nevada? We can check out ghost towns, and then right afterwards find ourselves in natural hot springs to enjoy and warm ourselves back up. Right outside of Goldfield, I'm going to collect for some gems also. There's a rock hounding forest nearby, but I have to warm up first. It warms my heart to see that everyone and the locals are keeping this hot springs clean. Look at that water quality. Everyone's scrubbing the tubs, keeping the trash up. It's just beautiful out here. First time I was brought here by some locals over 30 years ago. It was in the dark at night, and they told me about how cows used to fall into this pond and that they really did not like to swim in here because of the dead carcasses. But I'm sure these fish love to devour any dead carcasses that fell in here. And then a few years back, I saw some visitors come, and the man jumped right into this pond and started swimming before he realized the hot springs were just up on the hill a little bit. I was dreading wondering what he might be stepping on. Any skulls? Ooh, wild burros drinking. Make sure you guys are really careful on the roads. We have wild burros out in Goldfield. Got those burros down in Beatty. Just be careful while you're driving.